Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. The other day I was thinking about this ink pad that I bought a while ago. It's the Distress Ink Lucky Clover. I actually bought the wrong one. I wanted to buy the Distress Oxide, but I just clicked the wrong button there on Amazon, but it doesn't matter. And this is actually one of my favourite colours. I really like this sort of green. It's like a Cali green, but I haven't used it yet. So I thought about how I can use this and make this the focus of the card. So I'm going to show you today how to use just one single ink pad, but get different colours out of this, different textures. And yeah, I'm just going to delve into it. I've got two stencils ready here. You need one stencil with rather big openings and then a more detailed stencil. I use this one because it looks a bit like clover and I thought it would go well with this. I've also got a stamp ready saying congratulations because I thought this might look like a like a lucky card, so that would be good for that. And I've got a piece of thin cardstock, and yeah, I'm going to delve right into it. The first thing I want to do is put this on here and tape it down so it doesn't shift. Oh no, one thing I've forgotten is I would like to mask the area where the stamp goes on later, and I'm just using this tape here and just stick this down on here. I try to keep it straight, and I will actually like the look of the end here if it is exposed, because I think it might be a nice feature. So this will cover the area here. Now when I place this down, I am aware of where this is. Obviously I've got a bigger piece, I'm going to cut it down later, and my card base and my card size is determined by the stencil, so I'm going to go for a square card. So, and I could move this around, but I think I like the bigger circles at the bottom. So I'm going to tape this down, and this is supposed to be a really quick card, so I don't want this to shift. So as I said, I haven't used this yet. I've got a fairly virgin brush as well, so I'm testing it on the side how moist it is, and it is quite moist, so I'm cautious of that, or aware of that. So when I go on with my first application through the first stencil, I want to go with a really light hand. So starting on the stencil, I'm just going over like this. I'm trying to get it even. So again, tap it off, start on the stencil. I'm starting on the bigger ones first, because the smaller ones I can just fill in with the residue. And if I feel it's not filling enough, I can put a bit more pressure on. So I'm going to speed this up now for the video. So I'm starting on the stencil, fill in these areas, and then I go in with into the little ones. So I've got a bit of a staining over here because obviously it dabbed off here, and that sort of, when I tried to pick it up again, I brushed it into this. But I'm not too fussed about it now, because once I go over it with the second one, I think this will all sort of blend in. I also think I need a bit more colour on the little one here. I also had to stop myself every time I went down. I dabbed it off, but I have to consciously be aware that I need to start from the outside. This is a tricky one. I'm getting a stencil brush to actually work my way into that. And again, I have to be very conscious not to apply too much ink. Yeah, that's better with a stencil brush. Okay. So now the second one can go over the top. Again, I'm going to stick it down on the side, trying to just catch the frame and not the actual motif. And these are from the same brand. I think I bought these in Germany, that Action, so I can't link to them. I'll tape them at the top and bottom as well. I said any stencils would work. So, and now I'm going over these, but with a slightly heavier hand, because I want this to overlap in these areas. And where you've got the white exposed, don't bother about filling that, and you just really want to put the ink through where you've got the circles underneath. Make sure you go into all the edges there. And I'm also using my fingers to press down the stencils where I'm inking up. So again, I'm speeding this up. So I've forgotten for a second that I've already done this one. This one, I'm contemplating whether I should use it again. Obviously, this is too small to show any pattern, but I will just, I think, use this one again and just colour it in a bit darker, because otherwise it'll look a bit funny. That's why I said ideally you have got a stencil that's got bigger openings. So I'm going to carefully peel these off now. And then you see I've got a bit of a leakage here where maybe it was a bit too wet. Just having a look at the stamp here. Yeah, that's because of the ink is very wet. The same here. So let me just find something to put this on for now. So and I will also peel this off now. And I'm also conscious of the ink on my fingers. Don't want that to come off. Oh, forgotten about this. Well, if I got the little one, I actually had the tape, so I didn't even have to bother about that one. So all that's left for me to do now is to stamp in this area. And I'm using the same ink for stamping. Just doing a trial run on the side here. I'm sure I'm happy with it, yes. Make sure it's straight. There we go. So I'm leaving that to dry for a moment before I cut it, just for the colour to set, because I don't want anything to smear. And then I'm going to show you how to prepare the card base. I have cut the panel down now. A little tip for that, I cut it, obviously I could see from the frame of the stencil how I needed to cut it, but I cut it a little bit evenly, and then I cut it down all the way around again until I have got the size that I do need. And that way I can have it as neatly as possible, although I did cut very close to the circle down here. For sorry, this size here was determined by my card base. These are from the Works, and they're advertised as 6 by 6, but they're not. They're 5 7/8. So I cut this to 5½ squared. So I want to give this a little matte. So I'm using my same ink pad again. I've got a piece of scrap paper here to ink blend on, and I'm going to use my tape again to just mask off the back of the card, because I don't want anything to go over on the back. So I'm just testing my ink blending brush again. Also I want to be conscious not to have anything going on to the back of this. Sorry if I'm going out of focus there. So just testing how dark I want it. I think I want it fairly dark. So again, coming in from the outside onto the cardstock, I'm just going around like this, and I only need a little bit of a frame, but I want to be it as evenly as possible. So I need to ink up again, and again I'm speeding this up now. So I think I'm happy with that. Yeah, it is a little bit patchy there, but I think that doesn't really matter for the background. So all I need to do now is to take this off, dispose of that before it leaves any residue anywhere. Especially on my fingers. Now all I need to do now is to stick this card panel down. I shall do this off camera in a few seconds. So yeah, a very quick card, I think. Very effective, very basic. I like a flat card every now and then to send in the post. And yeah, I finally used my distress ink like a clover. And yeah, you can obviously do this with all sorts of colours. It's really up to you. All sorts of stencils. Yeah. If you like this card, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, I post videos 2 to 3 times a week. You might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you soon with another video.